Have you even listened to this podcast?
I don't.
I haven't listened to yours.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't listen to mine either.
I just don't care. I like you as a person.
Man, what came up yesterday?
Oh God,
it was Glorilla. No, I said I was from Memphis, and somebody was like, "Oh, you like Glorilla?" I said, "I've heard of them. But I haven't listened to them yet." And I listened to the 30 seconds of it. I was like, "This is so cool. I'd love to listen to this. I wish I was in high school again, so I could have the time to, drive around and listen to a Glorilla album."
What is a Glorilla?
Yeah, it's a female rapper from Memphis.
Okay.
She's really good, but it's like immediately like, oh, do this. That's just like the evolution of 3-6, leads to this. But it's like one of the trending artists in Nashville. So,
do you know Mono Neon?
No.
Yeah, they're from Memphis.
Oh, really?
He's a bass player. He wears like a bunch of rainbow garb. We did a thing with him in Toronto.
I think I seen
last year.
Toronto.
You got to say it right.
That's how you say it.
Really?
Toronto. It's Toronto.
Oh, it's like Louisville.
Yeah,
they'll just see it.
Yeah, Toronto is the Canadian Louisville.
Don't speak that place into being. Louisville.
I remember when I first moved here and I said Louisville, and I got so many dirty looks from everybody who's from here.
My dad would say it just to be coy about it. He goes, Louisville.
Well, I was like, they don't call it the Louisville Slugger.
Yeah, Louisville.
Right.
Louisville.
Well, to answer your question, I haven't listened to the podcast. I haven't listened to anybody's podcast, really.
That's fine.
That's not something that I just wish I could work it into my day. I was waking this morning and getting all my kids ready for school and trying to cook some grits and bacon, and I was like, I don't even have time to do anything.
Well, if you weren't making a extensive Southern breakfast every morning, maybe you would have more time.
You know how long it takes to make grits? I mean, good Lord.
Have you seen My Cousin Vinny?
I got 7-minute grits, and I need to see if they got 5.
No respectable Southerner would make instant grits. I love that movie.
It's so good.
My Cousin Vinny, Marissa Tomei, she still is
so good.
Yeah.
I wish she was my aunt.
It's a pause attraction.
Yeah. Pause.
I think about that a lot. Every time I think about pause attraction, like if my car loses,
you go straight to My Cousin
slips,
Vinny.
I'm just like right there. Yeah,
you're right back in that court case.
The defense is wrong.
The case holds water.
It holds no. Does the defense's case hold water? That's so dumb.
It does not hold water.
This is basically it, Ward.
Yeah.
Three more hours of this.
How'd y'all come up with doing this?
Well, first of all, welcome to Twangtown. I am David
Feels like I'm in
Tolliver.
Twangtown.
Then I'm Colt Mirsky. Wait for it.
Brewski.
Yes, and today we have with us Ward Guenther.
Yeah, buddy. Hotkeys.
We only have 4 sound effects. Don't get too excited.
Dude, okay, here's a funny
We only
story.
use 3.
Since you never listened to my show, you really wouldn't know this. In the first year,
You've been doing it a year?
4 years.
Oh, okay.
No, back in 2020 when we started, everything was still remote, and so we were pre-recording shows like the day before sometimes, and airing the next morning. So it's still like current news, but it wasn't live radio yet. But we were at my buddy's home studio, and he set up a little just one of those little tap pads that had all kind of hotkeys on it. It had different scenes, and man, we had that thing loaded with all kind of movie and TV little sound bites, and it was awesome. Clips from songs where Drew Parker's BBBBR, like that was it was great. It was who else? Parker McCollum. Like every time we played Parker McCollum, we'd hit the shots, Little John, shot. Just so much fun. And then I had a couple in there of Garth, and it was like the cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff, and I not used it with any animosity whatsoever. But and I don't know the full story of whatever happened, but somebody from that world listened to my show. Of all the people to listen, they were like, "Hey, Garth Brooks is not on Apple Music."
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah,
you got flagged for using the G-Man.
I don't know what happened in the end. I didn't get fired, but we didn't get to press those buttons anymore.
Yeah.
Youch.
Yeah,
It's amazing that he does that still.
He loves being very, very, very exclusive.
Look, I don't know how to get through this.
Just take your time. Take a deep breath.
Garth Brooks is the reason that I started playing country music.
With so many people.
You know, I don't know what. I'm sure there's a truth in the middle of everything somewhere. I don't have.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm out. I'm not on a jury.
I feel like in the last 20 years, everybody's guilty until proven innocent, when it should be everybody's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
In where we are with the whole Garth debacle, I mean, who knows? I think it's still too early to judge. I'm not saying he did or didn't do what he's being accused of, but it's like,
oh man,
until then, it's like until he gets actually proven guilty, we should all just kind of not be,
but
trying to excommunicate him from country music.
And then I think I can't look at him the same way anymore after reading the details of the stuff that he supposedly did.
It was very graphic.
Dude.
Sounds like something
ankles
you would do.
I try to watch his little stories now, and it makes me feel weird. And
you start sweating a little bit.
Well, see, you have the whole box set over here.
Yeah, I've got the
vinyl.
Garth vinyl collection that came out however many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
My knee-jerk reaction every time I think about this subject or talk about it is like, man, why would you not have your music available for everybody to listen to? I'm like, he's on the radio. Like, he's on every radio station, plays him every day. Yeah. And you can purchase his music and get it if you want to. It's just not easily available to the people who need it so, casually.
Yeah,
which
not everybody's on Amazon Music.
And I was like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the artist saying like, hey, if you want my stuff, it doesn't necessarily have to be so easy.
Yeah. It wasn't for us.
Dude, it's
you
like
had to go buy a CD.
Yeah.
And exactly what I'm saying. Like if I made the effort to buy the record and listen to it, man, that's gonna be a part of your life instead of just some passing Glorilla song.
Yeah. Glorilla kills me.
We need to listen to it.
I'd love to. It's not on Apple Music though.
You probably can't. It's E for explicit.
Yeah. We're explicit.
Oh, we are. We can say fuck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And poop.
We're an American podcast. We say all the words.
Shite. Shite would be the Irish way of. Is it Irish?
I think it's German.
Shite? No. Scheisen.
Scheisen. Sorry.
Ja, was ist los, mein Schatz? Ich habe große Schmerzen in meiner Hoden.
Oh, well.
Ja, du hast mich dir lassen schunk.
He knows. We should know.
I have a bad pain in my testicle, and you don't have all your cups in your cupboard.
Why do you know that?
I had a German aunt.
And she taught you how to say that?
And then, some stuff. And then when I first moved to town, worked at Applebee's, I had a German server that worked with me. She was like in her mid-30s at the time. She was so angry but nice.
And you're like, tell me all the bad words.
Yeah, she's like, and I'm like, what? She goes, I'm like, what do you see? She goes, you got a screw loose. I'm like, okay, give me more. And then I had a Vietnamese manager, and he would teach me all the bad stuff in Vietnamese.
Oh, like a music manager?
No. Like a manager at Applebee's.
Oh, gotcha.
Bro, Applebee's is a cornucopia of useless knowledge.
Which one was that?
Applebee's Hermitage. It's not there anymore. It's a Whataburger now.
Oh, dang.
It burned down after I left.
Gee.
Literally.
I wonder why.
People would come in and they'd be like, what do you suggest? And I'd be like, Chili's. That's so stupid. I did say that to people, though. I did not like working there. I enjoyed the people, but I hated the food.
Yeah.
So if you could look into sponsors Applebee's, that would be great.
The $1 zombie margarita or whatever they got out right now.
Oh, God. They have a zombie margarita.
It's like $1 drink and has a little eyeball in it, and it looks like green lemonade. I'm like, oh man, I bet you see somebody come in there just like holding up a $10 bill. You're like, oh God,
yeah, fill it up.
They're
line them
for
up.
the zombies.
Yeah.
So we've known each other for a long time.
It's probably 20 years almost.
Over 20 years. Tin Roof, I guess, was our original meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original one on Demumbrian. Well,
when Tin Roof was the spot.
Yeah. God bless it. I love that place.
Yeah. I did too. I went last Thursday.
Did you?
It was worked there for 11 years. Hadn't worked there for 7 years. And just walk back in, walk right behind the bar. I'm like, hey,
did you really?
What do I need to ring up? They're like, you're good.
Nice.
You put in your time.
You put in your time.
Yeah. Must be nice when you're Tin Roof royalty.
Man, it is funny though, because through the years, like, there's one less person that I know working there every time I go in. It used to be just, family reunion, cheers style. what is funny though, almost every single night that I go in, any time of the day, Sunday morning, pick up, quesadillas, take to my parents or whatever, or Thursday night after a show, there's somebody sitting at the bar that used to sit at that bar when I was bartending in 2017.
How weird is that?
And you're like, what's up, man?
You're still here.
Guy. I remember you for some reason, this was years ago. It could have been 2012, 13 or something. And you came in and I was sitting at our table, which you're going to sit at it now. It still has our names
still
on
got
it.
the placard.
Yeah, still got the plaque on it. And I get carded at my table, which is real weird.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
because you look very suspicious.
But Ward walked by, and I don't remember who I was with, but I was feeling really good at the time. And you looked and you're like, let's go to Cool Springs and play a show. You want to go with me? You were playing at the Tin Roof 2 for some reason. And I, in my ignorance, said, okay,
let's do it.
Let's go. I think I played the same song 7 times.
I'm always up for an adventure.
Dude, it was an adventure.
Man.
I remember you looking at me one time, just like, just stop.
What was I thinking?
I don't know. Yeah. Where are you from originally?
Memphis.
You're from Memphis. You said that already, but I wanted to
hammer it home.
Hammer that home.
Yeah.
How long did you live there?
I moved. Well, my family moved there when I was 2, and then.
So you're not originally from Memphis.
Oh,
you liar.
I'm from Mississippi.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. Born in Hattiesburg. And,
okay. Now we're getting to the roots.
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad worked we moved to Oxford. He was working at the Ole Miss newspaper, I believe. And we were there for just a little bit, and then moved to Memphis when I was 2. And so all I knew growing up was Memphis.
Yeah.
And, was there till 18, went to Tennessee for college, came back to Memphis after that, and it was like, it was coming home, just all you wanted to do was leave.
Yeah.
And I was so hooked on the idea of Nashville at that point in time. It's like nothing could keep me from moving here. My parents were like, you got to have a job. You got to have something lined up. So I came over for one weekend, and it might have just been like a day. I think I spent the night at a friend's house and like dropped a couple resumes off at ad agencies and stuff like that. And just even being around the city for that one day, even in 2003, I was like, dude, I just have to be here.
Yeah.
I'll get a job. I got a job at Amerigo.
Out on West End?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was awesome, man. I working there. First guy I met was Jeremy Lister, who's now Post Malone's backup singer.
Oh, wow.
In the Fools for You, his backup band. And it was just like they were playing his music on the speakers. We were getting ready for work one day. I was like, who's this? Like, oh, that's the bartender. I'm like, dude, so the bartender at this random Italian restaurant has this amazing voice. This must be what it's like. And
is it not bananas?
It was crazy. And
that's Nashville.
I'll say it probably several times, but 2003 was, even then it was just crazy, like saturated.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like now.
Well, it's got to be nuts.
I don't know if I could do it now. I don't know if I would have the courage or the, just the persistence to knock through all this.
Yeah, it's bananas.
Because now, like, everybody makes music and everybody's putting it out, and it's just so incredibly competitive. And dude, when we came in, it was like still,
it was competitive, but you didn't know how competitive it was because there wasn't that.
There's no social media telling you what all was going on. You just kind of had to go and figure it out. Yeah,
we had nothing. I remember I had this idea when we were playing, when Hazard first started, and we were playing a lot, and I was like, I'm going to text everyone in my phone and tell them to come out to the shows. I started doing that, and then little by little, other people started doing it too, and then. Just before social media, you had no way. I mean, the Scene or the Rage,
City Paper,
was it Rage?
Oh man,
was it Rave or Rage?
Well, there was the City Paper.
Rage sounds so familiar.
I think it was. The big one was Nashville Scene, and then the little small one that basically was. I mean, it was like the little condensed version. Mm-hmm. I think it might have been the Rage or Rave or something like that.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, but those two were the only ones. I remember being down at Jackson's or something and flipping through and, looking to see who was playing tonight.
Some kid called me recently. He's like, hey, man, I'm putting on this rock show, and I don't know how to get people out to it. And I'm like, man, take your phone and text all your friends.
Yeah.
Like, go back to that now. Because, I mean, it's...
What's funny you said, because like I just read an article about you talking about the birth or the creation of Whiskey Jam.
Yeah.
And it was like you and Josh Hogue, I think, and y'all were coming back from a show or something out of town, and y'all literally texted like 250 people, just everybody you could think of who was...
Because all the names you had in your phone, it was like back in the... when you had a limit on your contacts.
And then you said like nearly everybody that you texted showed up to the show, and it was the very first Whiskey Jam, and it was like the day of, and people just came out.
These days...
What year was that? Was that 11?
2011. Yeah. These days it's so easy. I mean, we're talking about with the music. It's like it's easy for things to be super casual and for you to think, I'm going to put a picture up of a show flyer and everybody's going to just come. It's like, no, man, if you send, you would have better results if you personally text. If you wanted 100 people to come somewhere, text 150 people, and I bet they'd be like, that's super cool. You know?
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like for you to be at this thing.
It's more personal. It's 100% more personal.
We can't do it twice a week, which stinks. But when we have 7 different artists playing every night, or 6 people, it's like that should be the approach.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the data plan for it now.
You only got nights and weekends.
I'm on a budget.
He's still on that 2002 plan.
Yeah, I'm grandfathered in, so it's a pretty good plan.
I got free incoming calls and free first minute outgoing. So you call your friend, hey, call me back.
That's it.
I still have to put a 1 in front of all the numbers, the area code.
Oh, yeah.
That's how old I am. I have a song before I moved to Nashville called Nights and Weekends, and it was about like she only calls me on the nights and weekends. When her cell phone time is free.
Wow.
That's how much you mean to me.
Yeah.
Did you do music when you were growing up in Memphis?
No.
You didn't do anything musically related?
I sang a song in the 7th grade talent show.
What song was it?
We did one song that one of the guys wrote, or his like older brother wrote, and he just like stole it. And then we did a Green Day song.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. And that was 7th grade, and I didn't do anything again until I was 17. So it was just like a lot of years, like it didn't.
Did you play guitar or anything? Were you just doing it in your bedroom?
I went to a summer camp, and I was getting ready. I was a counselor, and we were going through all the cabins one day, kind of getting ready for the campers to get there.
I bet you were.
Yeah. And I saw a guitar case on a bunk. I'm like, what is this? Open up and just started playing. It had like a little easy chord guide in there. Mm-hmm. And that was the moment that I got hooked. And it was like you could see how to make an A. Yeah. And you could play pretty much John Denver or Leaving on a Jet Plane probably was the first one. It was just like a D, just mess around on D. I was like, this is fun. And I spent that whole summer just every time I could learning to play guitar a little bit more. And I got back home in that senior year of high school. I was just like pretty, not obsessed with it, but I just really shifted my focus from kind of school to that. Yeah. And then college was just a big mix of trying to figure out if I could do music at Tennessee, learning how to play and get better because I was still really, how to say amateur or novice, because man, like in high school, like you could go on those tablature sites and get the tabs. Yeah. And dude, I was all into Dave Matthews. And so like learning how to play Dave Matthews songs as your first things that I want to learn guitar. Let's play Dave Matthews.
Yeah, that's very defeating, right?
Not easy.
Oh, but it was like, you knew the songs inside and out, or I did. And so learning them, you just wouldn't stop until you learned it. You had the time and the persistence of a high school kid. And it's like,
sure.
So that was great, and I like having that jumping in and be like, okay, I can play freaking guitar, man. You go to college and, it's like, okay, now the next 4 years you have to do college. You have to learn. Yeah. And man, that kind of sitting on your nightstand the whole time, like this is what you really want to be doing.
Yeah. What were you going to school for?
Advertising.
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Makes sense.
I was in school for marketing and accounting. Dude, I was on full scholarship. I did very well in school. I got to the second class of accounting, and it just didn't compute. It was one of those things in life. I was like, I don't
numbers.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
It was accounting 202, and I'm like, I remember leaving after the first test, calling my parents like, I have to change majors. This is like it's like a language that my brain couldn't process.
Same, bro.
Debits and credits. I was like, this doesn't make sense. I got a freaking 740 on my SAT in math. Like I'm good at it.
Yeah.
But I can't do the spreadsheet. Like that didn't compute. And so I changed to advertising, and that was cool because it it kind of allowed for a more creative, curriculum.
Sure.
And it wasn't just straight business, learning all the econ and accounting and statistics and all that stuff. It was like, okay, let's go on the creative side of advertising. You get to, learn Photoshop and have copywriting classes, creative writing, all that stuff that I kind of cobbled together in a way because I wanted to go to Belmont. I was like, man, I need to drop out of Tennessee and go to Belmont. My parents were like, hey, you have a scholarship to a state school that it ends up like everything was paid for, my books, my food. And they're like, if you went to Belmont, it would be
so expensive.
It would.
We don't have Colt money to go to Belmont. Right?
No, dude, I was on that government grants.
But imagine like me changing my mind in the middle of a school year, like I want to go there, versus all these kids who spend their whole high school aiming for that.
Yeah,
it just wasn't feasible.
You're very selfish. That's very selfish of you to do.
I know. And my parents came up to Tennessee to like mediate. They were like, "Listen, you have to stay in school here." And I'm like, "Man, plenty of people drop out. Look at these kids. Look at Steve Jobs and Michael Dell."
Yeah.
And they're like, that was one of the, no, it was one of the first times my parents were like, okay, like we've been very nice to you growing up. Like we made sure that you thought that you were smart and handsome and all that stuff. But you're not Michael Dell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's also how old I am. We're Michael Dell.
Yeah.
Of Dell.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Would be someone you would reference as a smart dropout.
I find myself getting older every day. It's weird.
Yeah, every day.
I don't know how that happens. It's very strange.
It's easy these days.
It's easy to get old. Hey, I don't know if it is or not. Peptides, you got to start doing that stuff. You got to do something. You got to inject something into your body to make yourself feel better.
Man,
that sounded really weird.
Besides heroin, yes.
Yes, kids don't do the heroin.
I saw something. No. I'm so glad I saw this morning. I was like, man, I wonder if it's going to come up in the podcast.
Somehow it does.
Here we are.
Heroin always sneaks in.
I follow this account. It's called Carnivore Aurelius, and it's just kind of like a natural, looking back at the glory days of humankind, and like when it all went wrong, seed oils and this and that, and the fact we don't sit out in the sun and we don't eat red meat anymore. And man, there was this one this morning. They were like, in a scientific study, lab rats that were fed beef tallow could not develop liver disease no matter how much alcohol you fed them.
So there it is,
like,
kids.
as long as you're eating red meat, like beef
Lots
fatty
of beef
steak.
tallow.
I need to go get some tallow, bro.
Tallow rocks.
They said that's
Cook your steak in that.
Yeah.
I bet it's super expensive. That's what they
they
figure out.
Well, I've been going to do where they scare the kids and then you suck out from their adrenal glands. I hear that's a really good thing to do.
Oh
too.
yeah, adrenochrome.
Like the movie Monsters, Inc.
Basically. Have you not seen this?
Wow.
No.
That's
thank you for actually knowing what it's like.
They scare kids and suck out the adrenaline.
Have you not heard this conspiracy?
No.
Man,
That's what they do in Hollywood.
The more all this stuff comes up and out, and I have a cousin who's well versed on the theories, and she will send me tweets and things like that. It's easy to go down a rabbit hole.
Oh yeah,
but it's kind of makes you think maybe vampires are just kind of an evolved legend that comes from a, I don't know, man. I've never drank another person's blood. And I don't know what it feels like when you do. Yeah, that I can remember in this lifetime.
Well, I've heard the people like drinking like baby's blood, but not like adrenaline from scared children.
The Queen Anne or whatever would bathe in the blood of virgins to keep her skin soft, young youth.
There's got to be a better way, like lotion.
The whole adrenochrome thing.
Peptides.
Peptides. It's where, like they say, a lot of the Hollywood elites will in these cults, and they'll take these kids and they'll scare the shit out of them. And I guess it produces a certain hormone that they'll then suck out of them and inject it in themselves to like stay young.
What would be that for you? What's the scariest thing that's happened to y'all recently?
Spiders. Just period.
Oh, really?
Just spiders.
I don't know. I guess I'm not horrible at heights, but like, when I watch those people who are doing like mountain biking on like, somewhere way high up on a mountain, or those cars in South America driving on the ledges, any second.
Going up the Machu Picchu.
Like, I can feel my anxiety. I can feel my heart racing. I'm like, oh my God, why are you doing that? It's so stupid.
And you're sitting on the toilet looking at Instagram.
It's not a good combination.
I hadn't been good and scared in a while. And I realized something the other day, how kind of like curbed the edges of my fear are. I went in the bathroom. There was a EPT test.
Well, there's always that
on the thing, and it was like there were lines in the window, and I just like walked out to my wife, and I was like, "Are we having another?" But it just didn't even affect me. I was like, "Are we having another kid?"
Are you?
No.
How many do you
It
have?
was 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
but it was
four
like,
is like, what's one
I was
more?
like, what? No kidding. Like, whatever. We've been throwing food away for 13 years now. What's a few more?
After the second one, you're like, just do what you want to. It's basically just go climb. Yeah, burn your hand. We don't care anymore.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Stop crying.
Raise
like
the other
freak,
ones.
dude. Like Brantley Gilbert, perfect example.
Oh yeah, I just had a kid on his bus. That was wild.
Third kid. Stop the show for just a little bit. I need to go deliver my baby.
How epic is that?
But I'll be back.
Hey guys, I'll be back in 30 minutes.
Only
Yeah.
Brantley would do.
Go-
Hey man,
Go beer up, and
So
I'll see you here in
awesome.
30 minutes. I'm gonna go deliver my kid.
It would be easy to. I'm sure it was joked about, but it's also just just awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
easy peasy. Okay, we're good.
yeah. Just push it.
Some people have
push.
been like, "Hey, I'm going to cancel the show because my child is being born."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, man, I'll be back in 30 minutes."
And I don't think they were doing it like to try to be, supernatural, like have a bathtub on the.
Well, I heard it came like a week or two earlier than they expected.
So just like surprisingly, he's like, "Well, I can handle this." I respect that.
I couldn't.
You wouldn't birth your own child?
No, I don't want to see.
You don't
I
want to catch
see
it?
No.
I bet it people.
No,
pretty
dude.
crazy.
No, sir. No, I don't want to see. I don't want to see.
I've seen both my
I
kids
don't want to
being
see
born.
it stretch, and I don't want to see.
I was there.
No, well, you're the psychopath.
Oh man,
You're,
did you cut the cords?
Thank the Lord, cut the cord.
Did you cut the cords?
Mm-hmm.
Could you handle that?
Yeah, I cut the cords, and it was really icky.
That was a weird cut.
Right?
It's very-
it's like cutting.
It was like
thick. Yeah, I'm like,
It's
I
very
don't
like
know.
tissuey. I don't know the
yeah.
word to describe
that
it.
gives
but
me- that gives
it's
me
not
a
a
little-
smooth cut. It's like you got to get in there and
Nate Bargatze's thing about having kids and the doctors being like, "You want to cut?" He's like, well, "Didn't you go to doctor school for this?" It's just hilarious.
well.
he's great.
He's like, he's like, and the whole time they're just like, you're going to want to shake this baby. You don't need to shake this baby. And he gets home, he's like, we haven't had any sleep for 4 days. And he's like, are we supposed to shake this baby?
He's so good.
He's so good. So you went to Tennessee on this scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And did you finish school?
Yeah.
And you came to Nashville in
2003.
2003
Yeah.
and got a job at Amerigo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long did you last there?
2 weeks. It was the 2 weeks was the training period. Here's how financially stable I was after a college degree. I went home. I was working as a lifeguard through the summer, living at my parents' house. Like whatever, just trying to save a little bit of money to come over. And I don't know if I did. Whatever, it wasn't enough because when I got there and got this job, you have your potential earning that you might be able to get being a server. And I had that in my mind, and they're like, okay, every day you have to have a fresh starched white shirt. That was part of your uniform.
Oh,
and
no,
I was like,
sir.
$50
I was like,
shirt.
that is $1.79 a day.
Yeah.
And they were like, don't try to iron it yourself. You're not going to do it good enough. Like this has to be professionally, crisp starch thing. And I was like, I can do this. And I tried a couple times, and then you get this, have to have multiple shirts.
At
Yeah.
Amerigo.
Yeah.
Come
so,
on.
But dude, I will say that's one of the most legit restaurants in this city to this day.
Hey, it's great.
Every time.
I've never had a
They
bad
hadn't-
meal there.
They hadn't changed the menu in 20 years.
No.
You can get the cedar
They're
plank
like
salmon.
Jay Alexander's. They're just consistently consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that lasted 2 weeks, and then I went to work at Otters. And that's when a lot of things changed in my life.
The one on Demumbria? Mm-hmm. Nice.
Wait, so that came back full circle, really, right? Didn't
Like-
Otters on Demumbrian?
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
That was the first. They were opening up. I had a friend who they're from they're like Louisiana, all Mississippi guys that went to Ole Miss, and they had known Cane's, Raising Cane's,
Yeah.
the chicken place, and they wanted to do something like that. There was
Oh,
a bunch of them at that
Wait,
time.
you worked at Otters before the roof?
Oh yeah, that's where it all.
I didn't know that.
Dude, that's
I didn't
where
either.
That's where it started. So I was working at Otters, frying chicken in the daytime. Keeping pretty good, like 9 to 4, probably. Easy, so I could. The only thing about those couple years that I regret is I couldn't write.
Yeah.
I was whatever.
9 to 4.
Frying chicken for a little while, and then I was managing. It was cool because I would meet people, as a cashier, somebody hands you your card and you're on Music Row, and like the A&R from DreamWorks comes in and you're like, oh, you see it.
A lot of dynamics,
and you walk around and you're like, hey, can I get you anything, Doug? And it's like, sure. And then after a couple of visits, you're like, so what is A&R? How to get you guys need any help? You guys need an intern? But it was good because you got to meet people. I met one of my best friends because he worked at Toyota in my car. I had a Toyota. My Toyota broke down.
At Beeman?
No, he owned a dealership in Kentucky. Oh. Dustin Smith.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's when I met Dustin, which opened up that's when I met Dustin, the Otters, we just started going to Tin Roof every night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Every waking hour.
I know that.
And dude, that was like the start of my actual, I would do the Mondays at Bluebird Cafe and Tuesday at Douglas Corner and Wednesday at whatever.
I miss Douglas Corner.
Yeah, everybody had the routine, when you were getting your network and making your friends, and then it evolved into, I can just hang out at Tin Roof all the time instead. It's not fun going to sit and wait and put your name on the list at Douglas Corner when you can be at Tin Roof and possibly see, Keith Urban hop up with the D. Vincent Williams and James Dean Hicks those days,
dude.
Which still is the greatest cover gig I've seen in Nashville in my entire life.
The music back at that time, I mean, Broadway wasn't kicking like it is now.
No,
The Roof had D. Vincent and those guys, and it
Dylan
had Dylan Dixon and Henry and the Seahawks, and it was just a different time.
How is it that those were the best? Like those guys, the three singers on Tuesdays at Tin Roof, they were the best singers and decent hit writing songwriters.
I mean, James Dean Hicks had huge hits.
Yeah, from when he was like a teenager.
Yeah,
and that was kind of my baptism in the whole thing. And Tin Roof just opened a lot of doors as far as meeting people, getting to know the bar staff there. That's how I got to be a bartender. I think I met my buddy and future business partner, Ryan, at Tin Roof. He ended up taking me out on the road with Billy Currington. That was my first road gig.
What were you doing with Billy?
Selling T-shirts.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
It was awesome, man. That was a lucky experience because we went out and he had just put out Must Be Doing Something Right, but his first single, Walk a Little Straighter Daddy, was not quite wasn't the smash it was. It was like a radio okay hit.
Yeah.
So we were playing these places, he was touring with a band on a bus. It was going well, but you're playing small, like strip mall clubs and stuff like that. But we got to watch Must Be Doing Something Right just blow up. It's one of the biggest songs of the decade, really. And so you go from strip mall venues to touring with Brad Paisley in arenas and everything between, every rodeo and every fair. It was awesome. And man, you can't get an education like that in town.
No.
And Billy was a great dude. He was low key. He was very fair. He was
very fair.
He wasn't very demanding,
I get exactly what you're saying. I love that dude.
I can imagine working for some of these guys that are like, if I had to work for a hyper business savvy, whatever. I think Garth is probably the opposite end of that spectrum, where it's just micromanaging every little thing. It was fun to work with Billy because it's like, hey man, how was shirts tonight? Good. Cool, man.
I can totally see that conversation.
You know what? I think an artist like that's probably happier at the end of the day than well, show me the sheets. Show me the spreadsheet.
We used to do shows with Billy, and he'd be like, "Hey, man, you want to come back to the bus and smoke some weed?" I was like, "I'm not having sex with you, Billy." Like, man, I don't mean that. I'm like, sure you don't.
Sure
you don't.
That was They did like to smoke the weed in the back lounge.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, which I don't blame him at all, man.
Yeah,
weed is much better than alcohol in my point of view. I don't do anything anymore, which is real weird, but
so weird.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know.
Ira Dean once told me I used up all my drink tickets. And I was like, that's the best, dude. Because that tells me like you've been there.
Yeah,
and like. I stayed there for a long time too. I've been there, stayed there.
Yeah.
No, I just decided I don't want to do it. I just feel better. lose weight, live longer,
sleep good.
Wow.
I mean,
this is foul, but when Josh got sober, we talked every now and then. No, when he first stopped drinking, I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey man, how's it going? How you feeling? What's different?" He goes, "Well, I have to push to shit." That's the only real difference. I was like,
That's
leave it to
amazing.
Hope.
I love that guy. He's
I have to push to shit.
he is clever as all get out.
He's one of the smartest. I'll say that he's one of the most clever people.
Yeah.
If I hadn't met Josh and become best friends with him for that point in my life, dude, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
There would be no Whiskey Jam.
Let's speak to that
amazing.
for a second. You were with Currington for a while. Then you went out and played guitar for David Nail.
Yeah. So I didn't like the big road with Billy and Brad, and it was funny because Brad's manager, tour manager, and merch manager was like, "Man, we'd like to bring you out to manage Brad's merchandise." I was like, "Thanks for the offer. I got to go back to Nashville and spend time with my girlfriend and bartend."
Yeah.
Looking back, that was probably a foolish thing to do because that's a fantastic opportunity,
Sure.
lifetime
Yeah.
with a fantastic artist. But yeah, I mean, that speaks to kind of like that drive that's like, man, I gotta chase down this thing that's on the horizon. It's like a spark. I don't know what it is even. Yeah. And I hope when I get there, it's something cool and not like, oh fuck, it's a broken glass.
Not again.
No, and so I got off the road, bartended a little bit. The stuff with David Nail was cool because we could go on the weekends, or actually it was during the week a lot. These radio tour visits where it's like you fly in and out, and I bartend on the weekend. That was fun. Just because of getting to sing with David, like one of the best singers in the city, he's
a real deal.
Following him and playing, and it was fun on the road. And I like I think when we started, getting tired of steak dinners on radio tour, that's when I knew I was like, okay, we probably run our course.
Wow. I don't know if I've ever experienced that.
Oh, dude, you go to like Ruth's Chris every night and you start going like, what's on the fish? You getting the tuna steaks, like, okay.
Oh, some more wine and steak.
How much more can you pay these people to play your song?
Yes. How much more can I pay these people? I didn't realize that we paid for it.
Oh gosh,
until started getting statements.
Wait, what?
What?
So
Wait, huh?
Billy, David, and then I started bartending, and when I was bartending at Tin Roof in Cool Springs, I was playing cover gigs there, like kind of throughout the week, juggling a bunch of stuff, writing a little bit, not writing as much as I should because, I mean, it was just...
You're a great writer.
I can blame the jobs, man, but I couldn't write when I was at Otters because it was in the daytime. I couldn't write when I was at Tin Roof because I worked at nighttime. But man, like, when I did get up and go do it, it was fun. And I had some... had fun, had some good friends in that scene, but this is when I kind of met Josh, and we were just out all the time, and that was kind of a turning point in my life where I was like, man, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Am I here to play music, or am I here to party all the time? What's the...
There's only so many drink tickets, kids.
What's the end goal? How long can you do this? And meanwhile, we're sitting there like, we're sitting on patios drinking margaritas in the afternoons, and we're watching our friends. And dude, like, we're doing things with these people. It wasn't like, Kip Moore wasn't hanging out at the pool over at Melrose.
Yeah.
He would like come hang out at the pool for a little bit, and then he'd go write at Cornman, and he'd like go tour, and we didn't get that part. Like, okay, you can do the pool for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know. I feel like I lived spring break for about 10 years after not really doing it in college.
You get trapped in a bit of a cycle.
Yeah.
I'm saying the same way. I think we all have been at one point in our lives. It's like you eventually have to go, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
And that moment came for you. I think it came in a big way from what you guys started.
Well,
I want to know how that conversation came about.
Mine definitely was ordained to a degree by, or whatever, determined to a degree by my family situation, like my personal now immediate family situation. Because I was just having fun every day, bartending, playing cover gigs, doing little things right in here and there, nothing much going. Had a girlfriend that I was really into that finally found a girl that I was like, okay, she gets the way that I operate. She gets my activity level and my, my social schedule. And we started Whiskey Jam out of honestly a desire to keep that social schedule going. We were these boring writers' nights that we had done for at this point for 8 years. It's like, okay, this is just not cool anymore. When this is a funny story. When Jay Cutler's coming to your writers' round and it's just like pulling teeth the whole time, and as soon as you're done, like, okay, cool, dude, let's go to the bar. Yeah, I was like, this is dumb. My friends aren't having fun at these shows. What's the point? And so we started Whiskey Jam because it was like, let's just throw a party and have music like in the corner. Yeah. And it just turned out that at that point in time, having music in the corner was having Kip Moore and having Brett Eldridge and having David Nail and having Chris Young and Love and Theft and John Stone and you guys and like artists that were doing it that were just in our social circle that also probably were looking for a fun outlet to play at that didn't exist at the time. There was no music mafia existed for a minute. And there were, not that there weren't fun things to do in town, but not specifically like that. Yeah. And
it's a destination thing. It's a cool thing. You made it a hip, like everybody wanted to go to this because the music was great. You were very selective. Yeah. I don't know if it started out being selective.
I think we lucked out. I mean, Josh was really influential in that, excuse me, instrumental, whatever you want to say. And I credit him with a ton of that early success because for the first year, there would have been no underground legends and legacies born about One Republic coming to play at Whiskey Jam and the Fray coming to play at Whiskey Jam.
I can't tell you how many times I would show up in the office like Tuesday morning because they were Monday nights, right? Yeah. So, and people, man, you wouldn't believe who played last night at Whiskey Jam.
That was the thing.
And I kept hearing that so many times. I was finally like, all right, I'm going to go check this thing out. Yeah. And sure enough, it's like, oh, okay, this is a legit thing.
It was awesome. I get chills thinking about it because that was such a moment in time. You can have a David Hodges hop up and play Evanescence hits and like just shock the room. And not everybody knew him, and not everybody knew about it. I feel
still
like
a badass, and
these crazy moments that were just like, I think it was a timing thing because in 2011, that was ancient. There was no instant social media like got to get down here now. It was just really, really naturally as it happened, which has been tough as things have evolved because we keep on doing the same thing, and there's a lot of events that are similar to what we do now, and there's a lot of people looking for the coolest and the most fun thing to do now, and it's hard to cultivate that surprise atmosphere. I think the thing that the way we're keeping that going now is like, surprise, this person is awesome. This is not the Fray yet, but I mean, who was playing last night? Every show, there's somebody. I'm just off the top of my head. Haven Kaufman last night, just like shocked the room, and the whole place. Lane Smith last night, this kid from Texas, just shocked the room, and they don't know these names necessarily, and it's cool in the downtown era because like there's a lot of people down there that don't know anything that's going on, so they're popping their head in the door, and if they don't hear a song they like, they're a lot of the times go up to the roof or go downstairs or whatever. But if they pop their head and they go, this is cool. What is this? Yeah. Then when an artist magnetizes that room, these guys, I can, off the top of my head, there's a handful of moments in the last year since we've been at Whiskey Row that it's like that magic still exists.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think it just has evolved from the, the speakeasy, don't tell anybody about this, don't ruin the secret, and find out about it at work in the morning to now like, just kind of, hey, come watch faithfully and then keep an eye on these artists as they go on and do their thing. Because
you want to see Luke Combs before he's Luke Combs.
Right. And I mean, it's funny because I'd say every week I talk kind of just the factoids and, we're having our congrats to Randy Montana, Justin Moore, Jeremy Stover. They've got the 444th number one song.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in the Whiskey Jam history.
Whiskey Jam fan.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and I'm like, don't expect to hear a number one song tonight, but the artists and the writers that you're seeing on this stage now, if history continues, are gonna be the guys that are writing that level of music. So you like, if you want to be impressed by just number one songs, that's one thing. If you want to be impressed by quality music, you're in the right spot.
Yeah. You did something back then too that you didn't see. You didn't go to the Bluebird and the people had merch set up. Whiskey Jam merch became a freaking thing in itself.
Dude, I see Whiskey Jam hats everywhere.
That's good.
I've even seen them outside of Nashville, like in random places. I'm like, oh hey, Whiskey Jam hat.
I saw one like
give 'em the nod.
Yeah. We were like overseas, and I saw a dude wearing a Whiskey Jam hat. Had no clue what it was.
That's crazy.
But he had the hat on.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
That's so we were again like lucky in that time to be kind of like an underground thing. It's like, okay, you only have this shirt or hat if you know what's up.
Yeah.
I miss the crap out of that because at this point there's nothing we can do about it. When
like
you've
Fight Club.
sold, exactly. When we've shipped, thousands of pieces of merchandise and hats around the world, literally, it can't be a secret anymore.
You can't put the genie back in.
And you can't it can't be it's not as cool, like it or not. We've tried to stay very like short run, limited, whatever through the years. But man, as soon as you show up to a party and have the same hat on as somebody else, it's not as speakeasy underground cool anymore. It's so balancing that's been a challenge. The whole thing, man, it's been insane. Like
I'm so sad that I have to ship so much merch.
Well, we don't.
But I get what you're saying.
We don't anymore because like the cool underground whatever has shifted to other brands. You see it every couple of years as another brand or another event comes up, and it's like, oh, well, yeah, I used to wear Whiskey Jam stuff all the time, but have you heard of Stevenson Ranch? It's like, and you see it and you go, okay, and you just put your head down and keep on doing what you're doing and not worry about hats and shirts for a minute.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to be like you're going to have a resurgence? There's got to,
dude. Everything is cyclical, and as every
I don't know
time
what that word means, but it's fun.
Every time I've gotten scared, well, think of bell bottoms. I went to get some jeans the other day, and they're like, "You're gonna want those boot cut ones." I say bell bottoms, jeez. He's like, "You want the boot cut jeans?" I'm like, "Boot cuts back?
Are they back?"
I didn't have to pawn off my True Religions or my Diesels.
Throw away my Levi's. I've still got them.
Man,
I never got into the boot cut.
But it's going to go thin and then wide. There's nothing wrong with
These are straight legs.
Nothing wrong with straight leg. They'll always be in style.
To me, there's too much room when you're wearing the boots with the boot cut.
Yeah,
like
too much room.
It's gonna be tight,
That's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
Texas, man. We don't. Said a lot of there's no boot cut in Texas.
Oh, come on. Yeah. Why don't you? Are those Wranglers?
No.
Oh, what are they?
I don't know.
Oh, did your wife buy them for you?
No. I think they're Levi's.
Oh, they are. That's cool.
The things will come and go. As something will, as people age out, and I've said this a ton. Like if the people that were at Whiskey Jam in the early days were still coming, it would be awful. It would be super sad. I'm the only person at this point in time that was.
You don't want that guy at the Tin Roof Bar still sitting there.
John Stone comes every now and then, and that's okay because John can keep it together. John's not like. John's not pickled. He's not there for the party like we used to do. He's there for the music. He comes in. He's like, "This is so cool, man! You got these like new artists I hadn't seen." But it's going to change, and like it or not. The new kids in town might think that we're something for old people.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about in a few years when like the even newer kids are like, man, that thing's really cool. It's been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
God, don't
Has
say
it been 20 years?
Well, 14.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I remember when it just started.
We'll have our 1,000th show next month. And that's like, it's easy to kind of put these little,
On Monday?
On a Monday night, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be awesome. And
I may,
but when you think like
I may have to come down.
Come out, get a booth.
Wow, you're gonna get David to go down to Broadway.
We'll put you up in a
I'll
booth.
tell you what, I don't go past.
You got
40.
booths? I'm sorry, I haven't been to the Whiskey Jam since you've been downtown.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Don't hate me. I love you. I love what you've done.
I see people every week who like used to come a lot or whatever, haven't been in years, and they'll come in and they go, "It's my first time seeing it. This is awesome."
Yeah.
It feels good. It's got fantastic sound, and
that room is great. We used to do a bunch of Waiting for Wishes stuff in there.
Oh yeah,
the after party. Jay would have the after party.
They built that room as a Dirks level capable venue.
It's great.
And so getting to accommodate the artist with that is awesome. Hey, you can bring in-ear monitors. You've got everything you could need. Because we put in a bunch of years where I'm like, I was running sound and I don't know how to do it. And, did you not bring your cables? Like, we don't have cables. I think this is Guitar Center. Yeah.
I remember you ran sound for us a bunch.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like,
sounds good.
When we got past...
One hand's on the drink and the other's on the button.
Yeah. When we got past like the 3, high, mid, and low EQ, I think they upgraded the board at one point in time. I was like, well, that's out for me. 5-band EQ. Nope.
Dude, oh my God. I can't believe it's been 14 years.
So how long have you been on Broadway now?
A year.
We
just passed a year, and it's wild, dude. Because
how's it been?
It's been awesome. I have zero complaints. It's been an excellent artist experience. It's great for the crowd. It is a very comfortable place. We have drink prices that are set at not even Demonbreun or Midtown levels. They're like really.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was specifically like, listen, we can't have any complaints from anybody. There's parking for the bands that's like cheaper than anywhere.
That's
in town.
unheard of.
Oh, dude, and it's amazing. That's thanks to Whiskey Row for making sure that is a priority. In that year, however, Nashville is continuing to do its thing, and there's been 6 bars open up. You have Lainey, and it's people that we like.
Jelly Roll's got one coming.
Exactly. It's like you got Eric
Luke
Church's.
Combs has got one coming.
Yeah.
Lainey, Morgan Wallen's bar is like adjacent, touching Whiskey Row, and it's a monster. It is. Yeah. It's one of the biggest performing bars in Nashville history.
Do they have chairs up there?
Yeah. And it's there. You go. We got to use button number 2.
Wow.
It's awesome, and I'm happy for Morgan and that whole team. But man, like when you go from here's 5,000 people on a Thursday night. They've got to go somewhere. Where are they going to go?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, when we started, there was 6 less places for them to go.
That's wild.
John Bon Jovi didn't have a 60,000 square foot bar that needed people.
What?
In it. Dude.
Isn't that one a little weird?
That one
doesn't really fit the motif of Nashville.
Do you have to have a wig when you go in there? Dun, dun, dun.
That place is so big. I think it's too big.
Yeah.
It's L-shaped, so it goes like, it's around Merchants.
That's right. You can go out in one side and come out on
the entrance is over next by Losers, and then there's an entrance over by...
I walked by it during Fanfare this summer, and I was like, I think they were just getting ready to open.
Fanfare. You just call it Fanfare.
I've been here for 25 years. It's Fanfare.
Yeah.
It always will be. Do you know Garth signed for 24 hours straight one year?
I heard.
Yeah.
He played Nashville 3 nights in a row for the Flood.
I can't. Anyway.
I went to one of those. That was the first time I saw Garth was at the Flood
concert
benefit. Yeah.
Really? The first time ever?
Yeah. Which was not really the way to see Garth.
No. No.
We went and saw him in the stadium later, and that wasn't even the way to see Garth. I wish I had seen Garth when my cousin got to see Garth. My cousin's 50-something and was in college in the 80s.
Yeah.
And like Garth Brooks, he was a ski guy, like a ski instructor. After he got out of college, bartender out in Breckenridge, would go see, Jimmy Buffett and Garth Brooks and drove a Jeep Wagoneer. It was like,
yeah.
That's how we all should have lived.
I saw Garth in like the late 80s. It was 89 or 90. I don't remember which exactly, but no, it was 90, 91. I think.
Dang.
At the Black Gold Festival in Hazard, Kentucky.
And just like
it was like, I don't know, 700-800 people out there.
Oh, wow.
And he was playing on Main Street. And
was it the full electric? See, like the CBS special Garth, where it was a freaking spectacle.
No, he was flying around on his high wires and shit.
Like just bare bones, first starting out Garth.
Dang.
I mean, it may have been late 80s.
Was he good then? Were you like, holy crap, this guy's awesome?
I walked out of Pizza Hut and I was like, holy, yeah.
When people used to walk out of Pizza Hut.
I was listening to metal and hair bands and gangster rap.
Yeah.
And, I'd grown up singing and doing like stupid songs that Mom wanted me to sing, which was a mix of, Stevie Wonder to Chuck Berry and,
That's what you learned.
Anne Murray. It was like, let's go from I just called to say I love you to Wind Beneath My Wings.
Anne Murray was the host of the CMA Awards.
Was she?
She's one of it's Anne Murray, Barbara Mandrell, Reba McEntire,
Sandy Patty,
Lainey Wilson. Well, and it's I think one more.
Carrie?
What? I think there's one more Carrie. Who Lainey will be the either 5th or 6th female in the history to host the awards.
Wow.
Crazy.
But it shocked me. I was like, Anne Murray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was huge in the day.
Yeah.
You know, did you ever know that you're my hero?
Oh, that's her?
I don't know. I think it was
Wind Beneath My Wings?
Yeah, pretty sure. Bette Midler. Anne Murray
she did that song too.
Yeah, she did it before Bette Midler.
Jim Ed produced her, and I remember him talking about doing that song.
Jim Ed's produced everybody. So, Whiskey Jam 2 now.
Yeah.
You're still doing the Whiskey Jam, which is an amazing thing. You guys, check it out, please. It's where a bunch of artists
go buy some hats.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Just for example, in just this year since we've been downtown, we've had like Charles Wesley Godwin and Wyatt Flores and Dasha. Dasha came and played there.
She's just blowing up like crazy.
Yeah, and it was like
she's about to have a number 1.
Those overnight moments happen.
Yeah.
And we're still seeing these artists, and we still, dude, the ones that are to come, the Cassius Culpeppers and the Preston Coopers, are still coming through, man. And it's like every time I think like, 1,000 shows, 14 years, maybe this is it. Is this sunset time?
No.
I will have another artist come through, and I'm gonna go, holy moly! Like, where'd you come from?
They're just gonna keep coming, man.
That's the beauty. I
don't think.
So I gotta ask you something.
Yeah.
In the same article, it's going to put the pressure on you a little bit. In the same article, it ended. This was from like 4 years ago, I think. Whenever y'all had your 10th anniversary.
Yeah. Okay.
The person who was interviewing said, "Hey, people don't like waiting in line to get into winners. People, it's too small. You need to get bigger." And you're like, "Well, that's kind of part of the magic. I don't think we'll ever do that." And here we are, a year later. You did get bigger. You moved downtown.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've lost any of the magic, or do you think being in there has kind of created it a special new thing?
I don't think we'll ever be able to replicate Winners Midtown, even like that for the early part of that, because they added onto that bar multiple times through the years to accommodate more people, and it was great. But it was like at a certain point, I think there was probably a moment there that was just like, I don't want to say the best it'll ever be, but the most like pure, unadulterated Nashville magic. And it's not necessarily Whiskey Jam's fault or the venue's fault, either one where we have been or are now. I think it's Nashville's fault, and a large part, the scene's fault, where it's like, man, it's there's so much going on all the time now.
So much.
We still have a really cool vibe, environment. We have an incredible experience for the artists that like to play. They are appreciated. They have people that come every week and just like hang out, and they're not writers or artists. They're just really enjoying music. I love to see that, where it's not just a bunch of young kids because it's the cool place to hang out necessarily. We're figuring out still just like how to exist there the same way. It's just a different vibe, man. People would go, songwriters and music row industry people would go to Winners to hang out.
Yep.
That was a place that they went to hang out. Nobody does that on the second floor of Whiskey Row. It's not like, man, just wrapped up right, let's go grab a beer at our favorite watering hole
on Broadway.
The club level of Dierks Bentley's bar on Broadway. And dude, we freaking labored over the decision when we found out we had to find a new home. And it was like, do you go to Tin Roof?
Yeah.
Do you go to Dogwood next to Winners? Like, let's just move next door. You know, it's the same size bar, whatever. There was part of me was like, man, I don't want to do just a lateral move. We thought about Live Oak on Demumbrian because it had such a great sound system, and there was a lot of good events going on there. The Raised Rowdy guys had kind of established that as a creative space. Dude, that place closed months after we moved, and that Demumbrian strip, I do not know how long it is for the world.
It's coming down.
Nothing's guaranteed here.
Dude, that is one of the most.
It's depressing.
It's depressing for me.
And it is what it is, man. Like when we moved downtown, it'd be like, oh, we had a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and one of my favorite responses is somebody come in. He wasn't a friend or whatever knight in shining armor. He was just a level-headed person, and had some quote just like, if you guys are so stuck in, maintaining the past, like, why don't you just go drink beer in a log cabin at the bottom of the Cumberland River? Like, that's where you would be if nothing changed and nothing evolved.
Yeah.
And it's growing pains, and like parts of it sting and suck from time to time, but at the same time, it's like, dude, where exists that you used to hang out when you got here? Douglas Corner is closed.
Tin Roof is it for me.
You love the Bluebird. It is on. There is a freaking time limit. We love the Station Inn. I hope that stays protected.
Man.
But I
was
don't
just telling
see
someone
how.
the other day, they have to put a historical marker there
That's
and
the
not tear
only
that
way.
building down.
But it's the only, and the owner died, and his kids have they are the owners now. So it's like, how important is it to you?
The state of Tennessee needs to get in there and make it a historical place.
Maybe I'll talk to Bill Lee about that.
We need to get to, talk to Bill. I'm going to talk to Lamar Alexander.
Yeah.
We need to make it happen.
I like the fact that we are not bound by a physical location necessarily. I love where we are and have been. Everything has like very important parts to me. But it's like, you think about the Opry. The Opry moved 6 times.
Oh, yeah.
And built new buildings. And, it wasn't bound to the walls that it was in. Like,
home is where you make it, Ward.
dude. If you moved Station Inn to a new high tech place, I don't think it would work.
No,
because it's that old building, just all that history, and some old buildings, they have an energy, they have like a life force
baked
in
into
there.
the vibrations.
There's just stinky in the walls.
Yeah,
it's like when you go to the
stinky.
Ryman, it's and obviously it's been renovated a lot, but the bones are still there.
Yeah.
When you go to the Ryman, at least for me, it's one of my favorite venues I've ever been to. You go in there and you feel it. You can just feel the history.
I would sit behind the poles in the Ryman before I would go to another place. You know what I mean?
Bobby's Idle Hour has done a good job of moving.
I haven't been to the new one.
Do you know what's weird about this? I've been in this place almost 30 years, and I've never set foot in Bobby's Idle Hour.
Oh, man.
An old location or a new location?
I used to live behind it. My first apartment or house in town, I lived, you could walk basically through my across the street neighbor's backyard and get to there. So it was always the last stop. It was Tin Roof, and then when it's time to go, stop at Bobby's, because they stayed open until 3 o'clock every
they did.
night.
Wow.
And the bartenders would
They were
let
cash
you play
only,
songs, cash only, no food. And when that thing shut down, they moved it down the street to a grocery store. I was like, this isn't going to work. And it somehow the vibe transferred. Then they had to move it again. I was like, Bobby's is a vibe. It's not a venue. It's not a place. So
it's a vibe.
that's what I'm
Whiskey Jam's a vibe.
hoping
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And I didn't, again, wouldn't have necessarily chosen to do that. But I'm glad that we were kind of forced to. So it's like, okay, we can move and we can carry a little bit of the spirit with us. Takes a little education, and trust, support, and honestly, new people coming in, the same as the artist. New artists coming and trusting the stage and having a good time and a good experience, and new people coming in and saying like, "Oh, this is cool." There's nobody else on Broadway is that regularly dedicating that much space and time to original music.
Yeah.
Eric Church has done a fantastic job at his place of that being like kind of a built-in focus. And when they opened up, that was a huge like marketing aspect or angle for them, which is awesome because it brings that to, I say that Acme's been fantastic at original music since they opened their doors.
Yep.
And there's a handful of other places that have, Tin Roof downtown has original music events on an occasional basis. But like for us to, really be regularly every couple days having a big show, I think it's important to do. And if it lasts forever, fantastic. If it changes in whatever 13 more years, then we'll see where else.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be 60
place
years old
takes
and
us.
going to Whiskey Jam.
Dude, yeah, imagine me.
You've got this really cool Whiskey Jam hat on right now with the Brooks and Dunn logo on it.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
They're like everybody else, man, just trying to stay in the game. And from what I can, from my perspective, you get to a certain age, you are legends, you are legacy acts, but
They're amazing.
you can't compete in the touring arena with the Morgan Wallens and even the arena acts. It's a tough world out there. So that they're doing a fantastic job with this reboot series.
The
bringing
first one
in
was great.
new artists, the top artists in the genre to sing with them. Like give them a two-way seal of approval.
Sure.
You're like, hey, Luke Combs thinks we're cool, but and Luke Combs fans now are being probably introduced to us, but at the same time, Luke's like, Ronnie Dunn and Kix Brooks want to sing a song with me,
Dude. Right? I'm sure that's how everybody
Legendary.
feels.
Yeah. So when they got back together to do Reboot 2 and wanted to kind of announce it and play one of their first shows back together, they were like, let's do something real, just kind of rootsy Nashville, and at a smaller, we're not trying to sell tickets and pack out Bridgestone, which I think they could have if they,
I think they probably
if they had a promotional, like if they had their usual promo push. But what we do, we freaking post a flyer on Instagram and text all our friends.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like I've gotten to that point where the last few shows, even the big shows, I'm like, man, I'll send it to people. Go, I think you would really like this.
Yeah, I don't get those texts. Do you, Colt?
No.
I
I have his number. I have his number, but I don't
It's
see any texts. So.
It's fine.
Haven't seen you guys in
it's fine.
a year.
It's
no,
fine.
I will ask
Because you
you
hang
the
out on
next one.
Broadway.
Yeah.
The next one you're gonna love is Gavin Adcock.
I've been hearing a lot of good things about that kid.
In the next outdoor
That's
show.
a made up name.
Yeah.
Man,
You just made that name up.
you need to see this.
That's a porn star name.
It'd be
No,
interesting.
it's the people with the last name Glasscock. That's the one.
Gladcock.
Glass.
What?
You never heard the last name Glasscock? There's a guy who
Say it
works at
again.
CAA.
Yeah,
I don't
His
think I heard
last
it.
name is
Say it again.
Glasscock. Yeah.
the Crystal Pistol.
Do you miss not Jake Owen?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
That was-
this is funny too.
That was great.
Yeah.
Before
If you-
memes, we had not Jake Owen on
but
Twitter.
If you don't know what we're talking about, when Twitter was Twitter, when Twitter was really good.
when it was,
When it was
there was
it was what I will never forget, sitting behind, like waiting in the ice machine area at Tin Roof, which is like VIP at that bar. And my wife now was with me. We were both out and we were hanging out with all these people, and everybody was just on Twitter looking on their phone. It's kind of like Instagram is now. It's like you got all your information, all your laughs from Twitter. And man, I had a good friend with a fantastic account.
Yeah.
That
Who was that again? Was it?
I can't. Blake Shelton knows.
Yeah.
Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton called him out at dinner at his house.
Did he really?
Yeah, and he was like,
Wow.
"Are you not Jake Owen?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Give me your phone." And it was like at dinner with guests, and he was like, "Touche, you
Yeah.
got me."
My favorite, not Jake Owen.
Well, where was that dinner at?
I don't even know.
Who all was there at that dinner? Do you
I will say
remember?
it was not a Nashville person. It was a non-Nashville person that had
Bullshit.
they had spent time here
How did they know so much?
because they worked in the They worked in the entertainment industry.
What do they do in the entertainment industry?
They worked on TV shows.
TV shows. Mm-hmm. What kind of TV shows did they work on?
Music, not even music adjacent, music
adjacent.
music TV shows.
You're throwing a lot of big words, man. I'm gonna take them as disrespect. Watch your mouth.
So my favorite, not Jake Owen tweet was, "When life gives you lemons, throw them at the low cash Cowboys." And they were still the low cash Cowboys.
Oh man, there was
You
some
could tell
gold
who they actually kind of liked because they wouldn't go so hard on them.
There were some,
But nobody was
absolute
safe.
gold one-liners in there.
Dude.
I will say that not Kenny Rogers
Yeah.
and not Jake Owen were friends. They worked on the same television shows.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because not Kenny Rogers is very open about who he is. He posts pictures of himself.
Oh, that was always funny. We're like, golly,
Like, dude,
Jeff just like is.
what TV show did he
Jeff's
work on?
Eating it up. You can do the research.
Jeff. What's Jeff's last
I can't
name?
even remember.
Uh-huh.
But it's funny because I talked to like young, I say young kids. I talked to some young people in
Some
town here
30-year-olds.
that run like other accounts, run Country Central and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And their meme sense of humor is completely different. And every now and then I'll send them like a screenshot of an old not Jake Owen tweet. Just like this is, I remember when this was funny. But that was the golden age. Like you would,
it's the best.
again, you'd like get at work the next morning. Like, oh, did you see that not Jake Owen tweet from last night?
Yeah, it got to the point where everybody was starting to kind of like panic. They're like, "Who is this guy?
Dude,
we got
I
to figure this out."
I remember
'Cause this is
Dallas
bad
Davidson
PR.
hired like attorneys and private investigators to
Dude,
kind of figure out who it was.
Sony was in an uproar. Over
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I would.
'Cause they were like, somebody in here is telling some stuff.
I knew early on exactly who it was because they used a word that person only ever used, and it's just like a silly
What word's that?
Bajimer.
Never heard it.
Yeah.
Do you have friends that say that word?
No, and it was like it's such a stupid little country colloquialism that they thought was funny and had used in conversation, and in talking like
two together.
in talking like foghorn leghorn. I was like, that is 100% who it is, and so I early on I figured it out and would I was not completely innocent in being related to it, so I would feed tidbits.
Because there was rumors. It was rumored around. It was you, and it was
Scott
Josh.
Borchetta
It was Hogue.
Asked me, I came in to sing backup with either Laura Bell Bundy or not Laura Bell Bundy. Rachel Bradshaw.
Oh.
Either Rachel Bradshaw or Danielle Lauderdale. We went to Big Machine, and Scott was like, we get in there, and Scott was like, "Are you?" Is this the guy? He's like, wasn't even looking at me. He's like pointing at me and looking at his people in the room. He's like, is this the guy? Is this the one? So you're not Jake Owen? And I was like, no, sir. I don't even remember what it was. Like I said, I wish I was.
I heard the Warren. Did you hear so many people?
I wish I was.
Yeah.
The Warren brothers. Somebody's like, are you? I'm like, no, I'm not that smart. I don't have that.
That was the thing. I was like, he would do some stuff every now and then. I'm like, buddy, I can't. I need to be able to, if someone, ever accused me of it, for me, like I would never say that, the stuff where it was like
Kenny Chesney's. No,
I gotta go back and look at some of those old ones.
Yeah,
you don't remember that one?
Well, people get mad.
It was when the bull sperm truck overturned on the interstate and spilled all over Interstate 40, and it was like something about Kenny Chesney's shipment didn't arrive.
Oh no!
Lost it.
I was more of a fan of the can you believe that Enrique Iglesias' name is actually Eric Church in Spanish?
That's so good.
Yeah.
Why is it so funny and stupid?
We should just bring it back. And I wish he had gone on to be like a, he is still working in entertainment as
What's he doing now?
He's a successful TV producer, but he's not like Bad Robot, like superstar. But it'd be fun, man, if like had just hundreds of thousands of expendable income to just paste some old Not Jake Owen tweets up on billboards around town.
Oh my gosh!
I'd always told him, I was like, dude,
I don't want to do that.
I'm like, dude, you should. When we had started selling Whiskey Jam T-shirts, like this is a good little side hustle. I'm like, dude, you should sell Not Jake Owen shirts, and it just says I'm not Jake Owen. You know?
Oh, that would. How did you?
But come on, man.
But then there'd be a way to trace that back.
That was it.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't. You'd have to
that would
set
have
up
been a cash cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody never figured, because there's a lot of people tried real hard. Like
Real hard.
Colt said Sony was like on it.
That's so funny.
Dallas
Yeah,
I think they hired a team too.
Thousands and thousands.
Blake knew because he was. What show was it? Blake worked on shows.
What
and
show?
was around. Blake was on The Voice, but that's not the show that these people worked on. But it was just like that. The whole entertainment crowd was around each other, and that's how it came out. And it was. I'll never forget. He was like, "Dude, I just got freaking called to the altar at Blake's house, and I couldn't give him my phone."
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Anyway, memory lane.
You're doing the Whiskey Jam thing. How long have you been doing the Apple Music thing?
4 years.
And how did that come about?
They were vetting.
And tell us the name of the show.
Country Risers Radio and the Ward Guenther Show.
Gotcha. So
they were kind of behind the scenes vetting just Nashville personalities that were not necessarily radio personalities, but were in the music scene, which I think is super cool. Instead of like, hey, we need to go after the best voiced DJ that's been DJing for the longest. It's like, hey, we should involve, this guy who has been in town for a long time and has been really implanted in that rising artist scene since almost the turn of the decade, whatever. And that was their approach was so different from like a radio show, hiring a radio personality. I still think it's super cool. I'm not the best on air. I every single day, but I also, have personal relationships with artists that aren't just based on
huge.
And it's not based on like, thanks for coming in my radio show. I don't know. I think
there's a comfortability that comes with that, though, to where
for sure
people will say stuff to you.
Yeah,
like we'll say stuff to each other here that we wouldn't say with anybody else.
And it's, I have to say, it's all well. It's not all Whiskey Jam. It's a lot Whiskey Jam. It's a lot though. Some of these guys from bartending days. Mm-hmm. I miss that a lot. That's one of my biggest wishes. I wish I could still have a couple shifts a week.
Yeah, man.
I couldn't physically handle it. I couldn't I would my self-control is not, it still doesn't exist to stay at Tin Roof after midnight in any I
gotta
capacity.
go to bed at like 10, dude. I can't.
Yeah.
But man, the years there from, seeing you guys every day and from,
No, you didn't.
Well, on occasionally.
They gave us a table. I think we were there every day.
There was a time.
When Dan or when Shay Mooney was living next door, when Chris Young was living next door, when Mitchell Tenpenny was, just growing up in Nashville.
Sneaking in the bar.
When, Luke Combs was new to town playing Revival, I was on the other side of the bar with a towel over my arm going, what can I do for you? It was a servant position just by nature. And so and nobody was like, oh, I'm your boss. It was like, okay, Ward's not, this whatever, DJ, host, the things that I am on a regular basis. Now, I was like a peer or less, which I was totally cool with. And man, that's how I met so many great people and developed really solid relationships where it's not somebody's not trying to get on Whiskey Jam or not trying to get on the Apple show. It's just like we're buddies.
Which makes it even more special.
Yeah, but I'm glad I have that 11 years in the bar, those experiences, those stories with the older artists and the people that have been here, and then the cred that comes with that with the new artists. We're like, I'm not just I'm not just really knowledgeable about country music. It's like,
you're not just a personality. You're actually a guy who's been a part of like creating something special in this town.
You've seen every facet of the industry.
And we've been through it. Kelly Bannon is good about this as well. She is not, chasing awards or radio singles or whatever. She's making music still, which is fantastic as it has ever been, but she has been through the ringer. I mean, even when she's talking to a Miranda Lambert, I'm sure Miranda's like, man, she knows how good Kelly is, and how unjust it might seem that an artist that good is never didn't get to where Miranda is. And I think that dynamic works really well in a situation when you're talking to people about the craft and it's not just a soundbite, going down your usual laminated list of questions. It's like personal, you're getting a better, I think,
can be more relatable product on the topic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think people just want to hear people talking.
Yeah. That's been,
it sounds pretty simple, but it's like this. It's like,
that's the whole podcast revolution.
That's exactly what it is. You don't want to hear. I've done thousands of radio interviews. Don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear where are you from. Where did you? How did you get it? Those standard questions. Where does your name come from? Where did Whiskey Jam's name come from?
Yeah,
well, it's whiskey and jamming. When I first heard it, I thought it was like when you first brought the idea. I thought it was just like some kind of spread,
like apple butter for toast.
Whiskey Jam jeans. I don't know, boots with the fur.
I was gonna say something that's very profound.
Oh, Kelly Bannon. Yeah. I don't know. I screwed you up.
It's okay.
It's my fault. You can beat me,
but it is good. Like
I'll hold the gag, huh?
Because I've been to all those. I've been to those those radio shows where it's like the person is like, "Who is this?" Oh, David Nail. Welcome, David Nail. Where are you from? Just do you write the words or the music first?
Do you write the words or the lyrics?
God. Yeah. Have you sold any songs lately?
Right.
How much do you sell your songs for?
Yeah. Your mom.
Man.
So violent.
Wow.
But it's a fantastic environment over there. They
you do it in Brentwood, right?
We're over there in Wedgwood, Houston. We're by Soho House now.
Did you do it? Did you do it at like the Outsider place for a little while?
No.
Did I see you in there one day?
I talked with those guys one day.
I went in to see Cutler one day. Were you in there? I think you were in there. It's been years ago.
Could be, yeah. I was talking with Shannon for a split second about.
Yeah.
It was good timing because it was like it would have been doing what I do at Apple at Outsider.
Yeah.
And Outsider doesn't.
Okay. Yeah.
They're not doing anymore.
Yeah.
Apple still exists.
Yeah.
Or I guess the Outsider country side, which that's a shame, man. There's so much stuff. A lot of people from all different kind of media have come to country as a place to as a ripe for picking format. And there's some great stuff that's been here. Like Outsider Country had a great blog. I got information for my show from that every day, and it's like, man, as appealing as it is, it's funny watching people come to town and go, "This looks awesome," and they get here and like, "This is hard," or "How does anybody make any money?" It's kind of probably like the call of wanting to be a songwriter or a singer. You're like, "This is super appealing." I saw Garth Brooks in concert on CBS. That's enough to draw 1 million moths to Nashville. And they get here and it's like, oh wow, he's the only one guy in history that did that.
It's not so, kids, it's not as easy as it seems.
No, man. A lot of hard work.
But would you not do it if you knew?
I'd do it I'd do it all over again.
I think so too.
It's the hardest, most rewarding job I've ever had in my life.
It's funny talking through 2 decades of history and possible potential regrets, potential, what might have been.
Yeah, we've done a lot of those together.
And it's like, man, outside of like major like arrests and things like that. But even then, like my DUI was not unfunny. I was the only person in the history of the Key West Songwriters Festival to get a DUI on a scooter.
Did you really?
You have to work down there to get a DUI.
You got to try real hard.
You do, and I did.
Yeah. Was this from like back in the day? Because I know they're really strict about it now.
What exactly did you do?
2007. I went by myself. I was dating a girl, and I was like, I just need to go and get away and be by myself. And so I didn't go with anybody. I didn't like team up with Jesse Rice and get a room. I was like, I'm going to...
Jesus.
No. Well, because we were good buddies back then. It would have been... And he was doing...
Okay, I thought you just pulled Jesse Rice.
No, he had been before and like, knew his way around. And I'm like, I'm just going to go and do this solo. And so our flight, hotel, or whatever, little place, and scooter, and I was like, I'm just going to bounce around all the things. I don't have to answer to anybody. I'm not have to tell my girlfriend where I am. I'm just going to do what I want, which ended up just being like drinking all day, I guess.
Great idea.
Saw a bunch of great music. And that night in particular, I remember when to go see Jimmy Geary at... I forget the name of the place, the bar that I was watching. I was like, man, this is awesome. Like world-class songwriters, world-class location to do it at. And then I went to the Bottle Cap for like the late night thing.
Lord.
And it was Natalie Hemby was playing the Bottle Cap. I was really excited to see her there. I had been drinking rum and Red Bull all day. Captain Morgan Select.
I've never had that.
And Red Bull. I haven't had it too many times since then.
It's like you're excited and drunk all at the same time.
And I was like, I was totally maintaining myself the whole time. It was, back in the day, you just kind of, I wasn't going overboard. And it was working out great. And then towards the end of that night, who should walk into the Bottle Cap but Lee Bryce?
I knew it. I was just thinking in my mind.
Always starts
I was doing
that
math.
way.
It was like 2007. I was literally thinking. I said, I bet Lee was there.
Yeah, and it was a grape bomb and a giant cup of Jameson later. Like I had just taken a grape bomb on my own. I was like, let's get this party ramped up, and Lee came in and just gave me a tumbler of Jameson.
Yeah.
And, he stands there and watches you finish like a freaking prison guard.
You have to.
Yeah. And I remember going to the bathroom and you start getting like the spits. We're like, I don't need to throw it. I just need to spit.
That water mouth.
And so I was trying to be responsible. I was like, I got to remove myself from the situation as much as I'd love to see Natalie Hemby. And it's so funny, man. In my mind, I still remember, I was like, maybe somebody will ask me up on stage to sing a song. How awesome would that have been?
Great.
Just, yeah. So I go outside.
And then Lee's like, come back.
Get my scooter, and I dropped my helmet. I leaned down to get the helmet, and I fell straight on it. It's one of those where your balance is just gone. And so you went, Beep, and I scratched my nose, and I get up, and Scotty
Emmerich.
Yes. Scotty Emmerich's like, hey, bud, are you okay? And I was like, I'm all right. And see, all these details, it was a wave that was crashing down on me. I still was like very coherent of everything going on. It wasn't like I just
but you were melting on the inside.
However,
I knew, I was like, this is a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And so I got on the scooter, and I was just a couple blocks away But a lot of these streets in Key West are one directional.
Yeah.
And so I turned right where I thought I was supposed to be going, and there was a car coming down the other way. It was a one-way street, and it was a cop.
Oh, no.
And so they got me kind of situated. There was a handler in Key West that was like the songwriter liaison. And was like, hey, we can get you out of a bind. If anything happens, call Danny.
Yeah.
And so they called Danny, and I was in the car waiting, and the wave, the waves just kept crashing, and I was in the back seat of this cruiser, and I got sick.
Oh no. That's how you got the DUI. You were so close.
Dude, and they told me, like, the cops were relatively cool about it. Danny was cool about it. Yeah. Bradley Collins was understanding. He was the guy that invited me down to do it. And yeah, the next day they were just like, Danny could have come and got you, but they just, when you have to go back and clean out the car.
In the car.
That's what got you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was hyper embarrassing at the time. I'm at all proud of that I was caught. No,
we've all,
but at the time, dude, it was the end of the world, and now it's so far away. It's not even on my record anymore. I don't do that at all. But the people that knew me at BMI from that, it's you pick up a fun story. It's not that big of a regret.
You didn't hurt anybody. You could have.
I could have, and that's the ultimate moral of the story. Like I was just a dumbass. Not for. Walk home. Or
you're 2 blocks away.
I was going the wrong direction. Probably.
Yeah, in every aspect of that night. Lee made you go. Yeah, it's Bryce Lee's problem.
Yeah. But
Bryce Lee.
Yeah,
at least somebody got hurt, and it's one of those where it's like could be regretful, could be just part of what happens here.
Yeah. Dude, I want to thank you for always supporting the live industry, supporting the people that.
Oh man,
have nowhere else to go.
Up and comers.
You've always been a solid dude in this town, and you continue to be that. And I thank you for everything you've done for me in my career.
Hey.
Which I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And I say that not just from the Whiskey Jam stuff, but the Tin Roof stuff. There's so many fingers and so many different people that are brought together by other people, and you don't realize it when you're in the moment. But I know you've touched someone that's touched me, which sounds really weird.
What are we talking about?
He started talking about fingers.
Touching.
You've changed a lot of lives, and for the better, and we thank you for that, dude.
I'm really lucky that I found what I'm doing now, and I'm able to do it still, and not completely burn out. Josh got tired early on, and I was like, that was right when I was really becoming passionately in love with what I was doing. I was finding my creative fulfillment outside of. I was like, I don't have to songwrite or sing when I can do this show. I get the same, selfishly, I get the same buzz off of it. And Josh was the exact opposite. He was developing fear of crowds and didn't want to be a part of that. And so luckily it works out, and I can still hop up on stage. I don't feel necessarily the same as I did in the beginning, but I know what that feels like. Yeah. And I can still chase that, and every now and then it's like, oh dude, again, when a Preston Cooper gets up on stage and you go, I cannot wait till everybody sees this kid.
Yeah.
It just kind of
it's exciting to give those people a platform, and
oh man,
and an event like Whiskey Jam that has such a great name to it. People are going to come see that, or they're going to be like, "Hey, so and so's playing Whiskey Jam. Oh, that's a feather in their cap."
Yeah.
I hope it stays important to the artist because, I hope that social media continues to do its just milking everything for every little disgusting drop because people are going to get sick of it. And the thing that is special about us is we are never going to change. We broadcast live on Instagram, but it's not like a slicked up production, whatever. It's not like milking. We are a magic live moment, and it's not, everybody's not an all-star, everybody's not fantastic, but it is a good feeling in the room. And you can try to record videos on your phone all day long and try to get people to love you that way, but there's nothing ever going to replace that live feeling.
Agreed.
There's no AI, there's no social media, there's no reward in that space that's going to equate to just connecting with a small room of people, which is a big part of it, and what keeps me, leaving birthday parties to come host a show.
Yeah.
Nice. My daughter turned 13 last night. I was like, I gotta go.
Daddy's gotta go.
Daddy's gotta work. Yeah.
Dude, check out Whiskey Jam still.
Yeah.
You go ahead and have a drink till Ward High. Go check out Country Risers.
Oh, dude, we're still giving away free shots of whiskey. I will say it has gotten much more challenging to not save the last one for myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't ever want to do that again. I do, but no. Oh, man. It's so good.
It's not Fireball anymore.
Oh, Lord.
God.
Easy, Troy. Unreal. Have you ever in your career spun a wheel of shame?
Oh,
see, if you'd listened to the freaking show,
you would know this was coming
know
up. This is the wheel of shame. It's all in code. It's not going to mean anything to you, so you have to just give it a spin.
yeah, just get up there and finger it a little bit.
It's going to direct your life moving forward.
dude, you remember the wheel at Tin Roof?
Yes, I would spin it just for the nonsense.
That was the best.
It was right. I would always sit in that
I'm gonna
Tin Roof too. At this, I would sit there and you spin it, and it was like $5 Jaeger bombs or Jackie Sons
or the Jackie's. Dang man,
right?
Ryan Long had the one downtown. He brought it in.
Really?
When I leave here, I'm gonna text Ryan Long.
Yeah.
And say, what the heck? What's going on?
Yeah.
He's always doing something fun. All right.
Nice.
That's a good wheel.
Yeah, we oil it up. Sometimes we oil it. We don't need to.
One time I was at the Tin Roof, and my cousin was in town from Texas, and we did a bar mat shot. It was horrible.
Oh man,
It's so dumb.
He wanted to do it. He was younger.
I didn't
his
mind him.
fault.
Truth or drink.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. So there's two things we do here. You're going to do this, and then we have a little initiation afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will the drink help that?
Nope. Two different sense organs.
All right, Ward, pick any card, but don't look at it.
Let's see. That's blue one's calling my name. Actually, that one's.
He likes that red stuff.
I have to record. Not this, but something else.
Okay, let's see.
In a world.
This is random, but here we go. If you can abstain from sex and masturbation for 1 full year, you'll win $27,000 and a nice used car. Will you make it?
Nice used car.
It's like a Sebring convertible.
Man,
What's the car in My Cousin Vinny? You get that?
Pontiac Tempest.
Yeah.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Ford Fairlane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Not for $27,000 and a nice
Why is
used
it
car.
$27,000?
Definitely.
know.
And a $13,000 used car? I don't know.
So random.
Is it a Honda Civic
I bet
with a
it's
big,
real nice.
huge tailpipe?
I don't know. I don't think it'd be possible. Stiff breeze at month 11 would be
Yeah.
too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if it was like 2.7 million
Oh,
and a nice used car?
For sure.
no question.
If it's over
You'd
$1
have
million,
and dude, you could prance around me.
I might
with
cut it
the-
off.
Yeah. Just take care of it.
Yeah. I'd tape it down for sure.
That's like those people get their teeth removed and just pull all their teeth and get dentures.
Yeah.
Just knock it out.
What remember Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yeah.
You remember
Oh, yeah.
Maid Marian had
Eunuchs.
that lock
Chastity-
thing on the
chastity
chastity
belt?
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. That was
Yeah.
impressive.
I would put one of those on my penis. And you'd
have a little pee port.
you'd have a pee port, but you couldn't touch your pee pee.
Yeah.
You just had to pee through the screen, I guess. I don't know. That'd be very messy.
So messy.
But it stink too. Anyway.
Anyway. So now here comes a Twangtown
Oh,
initiation.
nice. I know what we're doing.
I have with me a bottle of Atomic Rhino smelling
Nice.
salts.
Yeah.
Hand it over.
Are you
So
he's
look at
very
him.
eager
He's
beaver.
reaching for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Most people are kind of like edging away in the back of their seat.
to do it. You know.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lid off, and you're going
Yeah.
to hold it right here. Just give it a good old
Yeah.
I feel like he does this at home.
probably.
I haven't done it in a few months.
A few months.
We were out on the road on the Luke Combs tailgate, and one of the bands was like passing it around. And I was like, what's that over there? Y'all passing around. Which was hilarious to me because it's like you can buy it.
Yeah.
And not from a guy out of a backpack.
Right. Amazon,
What
baby.
are you talking about?
All right, here we go. That was a very gentle sniff.
Yeah. It does what it's supposed to do. That's so crazy.
Now give it a good one.
Get in there. Get your nose in there.
Get your nose in there.
It's gonna make me
Yeah.
blow a blood vessel.
Nah.
I like opening up on either side. Oh man,
Look at him. He enjoys it. You're sick.
I do.
You and Jared Mullins.
Really?
Oh, Jared didn't even phase him. Give it a heart
reminds
sniff.
me-
My Lord.
It
Give it a
reminds
heart
me of the
sniff.
days lifeguarding.
Be careful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pool water.
Yeah, I'd have to do all the chemicals.
Oh, shit. I got it on my finger.
I cannot believe this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Now once you get it like accustomed to it,
You're
that's the whole
sick.
point. It's like
You're a psychopath.
I might need to
spicy
open a
food.
new
It's like
bottle.
going to Thai Sane with Doug Johnson. He does that.
It's
That's good.
the Jared would
so
look at us and it's just
Once you get used to it a little bit, it's like getting in a cold pool.
Yeah.
No,
Cold plunge for the nose.
I had it right here and my eye fell out.
It was a fresh
It
bottle.
was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is sharp pain involved.
We might be getting close to retiring this
I
bottle.
think we are.
Oh, I got the bad one.
Yeah.
Like,
It's been used several times.
It's been worked over. Yeah.
I got to go do a podcast, guys.
Hey,
Or
that's
not
fine.
podcast, a radio
Ward,
show.
thank you for coming in today and
dude, thank
talking
you.
to
It
us,
was awesome.
man. Y'all go check out Ward Guenther. You can check out Country Risers, the Ward Guenther Show. Go to
On Apple
Whiskey
Music.
Jam and
Yeah, if
do
you-
all the things.
If you got an iPhone, it's free to listen to our radio show 24
Yes.
hours a day.
24 hours, 7. Colt, tell them where they can find us.
Yes, we're available on all streaming platforms.
All
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram,
Like.
and Twitter. Rate, like, share, subscribe, comment, all the things.
Yeah.
Ward, dude, thank you for being here. You're
Yes.
the man.
Thank you. Y'all, see you next week.
Bye, everybody.